As we kick off spooky season, I've been itching to talk about Rare, and I thought, what better way than to talk about unforgettable moments that almost made me poop my pants scared as a kid. Rare has a diverse and quirky catalog. Most games have a fun, cartoony vibe about them, but from bizarrely creepy scenes to unsettling visuals, these moments definitely left their mark. I'll be looking at a variety of games from Rare's extensive catalog, particularly those that I spent countless hours playing, and who knows, maybe you felt the same way growing up, or even now. So why don't we dive in and talk about it? This is when Rareware became Scareware. Donkey Kong Country, the series where our favorite gorilla and his little monkey buddy battle crocodiles to reclaim their stolen bananas. While the overall atmosphere of the series is vibrant and colorful, there's a moody undertone thanks to Rare's use of pre-rendered sprites and moody lighting choices. Like, why so moody? We have moments of pure utter joy with jungle hijinks, and then bam, we're hit with the dark ambience of a cave. One moment, though, really sticks out above all the rest. That game over screen. They had no right to be as creepy as they were. In particular, the first game screen, it's pure nightmare fuel. The dark, shadowy backdrop, haunting ambient music, and Diddy Kong's soulless eyes still give me the heebie-jeebies to this day. In contrast, the game over screens in DKC 2 and 3 were a bit lighter. DKC 2 screen with its floating text and red filter over the top never really scared me, while DKC 3's eerie music box theme was unsettling, but nowhere near as terrifying as the original. That original game over screen is something concocted from the evil visions of the developers and personified into a personal nightmare for all children to happen to suck at this game. And let's be honest, DKC is hard, so it's likely we all sucked and saw this at some point. It certainly scared me when I was younger. Staying in the Donkey Kong universe, Donkey Kong 64 is one of my all-time favorites, but it definitely has its share of spooks. The horror-themed level of the game Creepy Castle is filled with unsettling sights, from skeleton kremlings chasing after you to a haunted ballroom where laughter echoes menacingly. But the real kicker? The haunted minecart ride, with its eerie lighting, intense soundtrack, and terrifying chase from the resident demon. Yes, I'm not joking. That is in fact what it's called. It's a giant, ghostly, kremling-headed hands that shoot fiery demon heads at you. It honestly feels a bit more like Doom than Donkey Kong at this point. This stage left me genuinely unsettled as a kid. It was only later that I found out it was named the Resident Demon, which adds just another layer to the creep factor. I did wonder as a kid, what was this a ghost of? It's a pretty massive kremling, and the only one we really see of that size is K. Lumsy. The whole minecart ride with this monster is a literal nightmare, and while Creepy Castle in general was hard for me to get through as a kid, the massive monster in this minecart ride, creepy lighting, and scary tombstones that pop up made it even harder. Next up is Diddy Kong Racing, which is often considered the most kid-friendly of this bunch. However, the first race against Wizpig has its own share of spine-tingling moments. When you unlock the race, the stone wall comes alive, laughing menacingly as the camera zooms in. This alone was enough to terrify me and stop me in my tracks. Like, do I progress? Do I make my way to this? Somehow, I sum up the courage to fly into Wizpig's mouth. Then you encounter the main pig himself. The race takes place during a thunderstorm, and Wizpig is incredibly fast, keeping your heart racing. And if you manage to have the skill to beat him, just when you think the chaos is over and everyone's having a fun party, good time, BAM! Wizpig pops up again, laughing and chasing the characters. He's terrorizing them and calls in an airstrike. Not gonna lie, I really thought some of my characters would die. I was very concerned. Force Gemini has a distinctly creepy vibe thanks to its uncanny 3D models and eerie sci-fi setting. The most chilling moment for me, though, was in the world of Tofret. You're greeted by glowing-eyed drones in a foggy swamp that looks straight out of hell. As you delve deeper, you encounter King Jeff, who reveals he used his magic to transform these drones into horrifying, almost unkillable zombies. The cutscene itself is nightmare fuel. The combination of dark magic, dilapidated buildings, and these glowing-eyed aliens sent me running for the hills as a kid. I was so scared I actually stopped playing that level. It took me years to finally get the courage to go back to it. I mean, come on, a foggy swamp and seeing these glowing eyes walking towards you? That would make anyone poop their pants. especially a little kid. I didn't play Conker until I was a bit older, but that didn't shield me from its spookiness. The spooky chapter features vampires, a creepy mansion, and terrifying zombie squirrels. These zombie squirrels are grotesque, with their eyeballs hanging out and a speed that makes them all the more terrifying. The graveyard scenes are particularly tense, as they swarm towards you. You basically walk in and have to fight for your life. You may have a shotgun at this point, but the subpar joystick aiming on the 64 adds to the horror and makes you panic. And if you somehow make it through to Bachelor's Mansion, they lurk around corners just waiting to ambush you. If you're not careful, you'll be ambushed by these zombie squirrels. I'm really glad I'm not Conker. Conker Live and Reloaded Dolls. Continuing with Conker, let's talk about the Xbox remake, Conker Live and Reloaded. This version introduced a truly nightmarish enemy, the dolls. They're not just unsettling, they're absolutely terrifying. I was already in my preteen years when I first encountered them, and this left a lasting impression. So much so that I'd say they're probably the most memorable thing for me of this remake. And why do they appear in the Barn Boys chapter? What purpose do they serve? Rare didn't need to create these horrifying monstrosities, yet here we are. To make matters worse, I had a particular fear of dolls, dummies, and marionettes. Moving on to the beloved Banjo-Kazooie, I'm sure many of you have your own spine-chilling moments from this classic. I hear a lot of people say when you first encounter Clanker, or when you enter that one floor in Grunty's lair and see the giant statue, it's unsettling enough. But for me as a kid, nothing was scarier than Grunty popping up to comment on your progress. Seriously, it was at random, and it scared me half to death. Hearing her crackly voice and laughter made me rush to complete tasks, fearing her gaze. I'd often reset the game in pure panic whenever she appeared. Definitely a traumatizing experience. Am I the only one that was spooked by the fact it meant she was always watching you? Fast forward to Banjo-Tooie, where the stakes get even higher. The game opens with a shocking moment. Poor Bottles gets killed. And while that was sad, it didn't scare me. I was a bit older and had experienced the horrors of other Rare games at this point. However, meeting Jingaling was a different story. He starts out cheerful and helpful, only to be blasted by the life-sucking machine Bob and transformed into a creepy, unkillable zombie. The music of his palace shifts to a dark tone, adding to this eerie atmosphere, not to mention his entire palace has changed from gold and sparkling jewels to gray and washed out. I remember peeking into his throne room only to run away in terror, never looking back. I'm glad we were able to revive him though. In Starfox Adventures, one of your goals is to save the Krazoa spirits, guardians of the world. The shrines themselves are bizarre, resembling Egyptian sarcophagi, and they freaked me out during my first playthrough. I mean, just looking at them gives you this creepy and unsettling vibe, but then you have to transfer a literal spirit inside of this thing? The way they open their mouths and swallow you whole, terrifying. Then they have this creepy wiggling motion when you release a Krazoa into them. Pair that with the mysterious echoing music, it really set a spooky tone. It's the kind of thing that screams bad idea in any horror movie, yet here I was, willingly walking into it. If this were real life, I'd rather fight King Red-Eye than deal with these creepy spirits in a spooky temple. We can't forget By the Ghoulies, which is meant to be a spooky themed game. While the cartoonish characters like vampire chickens and slow-moving mummies aren't too terrifying, there's one character who really got to me, the Grim Reaper. In each room you have specific tasks to complete and a set of rules, and if you break the rules, he appears. And while he's not overtly scary with the way he looks, the way he chases you with his finger out is terrifying. If he touches you, it's game over. The pressure of avoiding him while trying to finish the task adds a layer of tension that isn't for the faint of heart. It does give you reason to try to complete the tasks within specific parameters though. Anytime he appeared, I just had one rule.
Oh, no touchy!
So there you have it. These are 10 moments from Rare games that scared me growing up. Did any of these moments resonate with you? Were there other scenes that left you feeling uneasy or make you poop your pants? Share your story and thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and help spread the word, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Until next time, stay spooky and have a good one. Jiggylookback!